Hey guys, it's Coach Gaglione here. This is another edition of a Powerlifting for the People podcast. If this is your first time listening, I'm Coach Gaglione. I've been involved with powerlifting and also as a strength coach for the past 13 years. I'm recently, for the last couple of years, I've been on a weight loss journey. I've lost over 100 pounds of body weight. And I'm just kind of chronicling and sharing my journey with all of you. And what we have going on today, I want to let you guys know about something that we're kind of doing, a challenge that we're doing in-house, but I also want to open it up just to the public as well. I'm partly doing this challenge for selfish reasons because I want to kind of kickstart my own weight loss, my own fat loss, and just kind of get my nutrition a little bit more dialed in. So I want to kind of share with you guys some of the things that I'm doing personally, some of the things that I'm going to be teaching and kind of going over with our team. So there's going to be kind of 5 pillars we're going to kind of cover today. And in future episodes, we're kind of going to go dive in a little bit deeper on some of the specifics. But I want to kind of give a little bit of an overview, and if for anyone that kind of wants to join along, I kind of invite you to kind of follow along our journey, kind of work on your own goals, let's work on our own goals together. If there's going to, obviously, if you might be listening to this on iTunes, you could be watching on YouTube. Make sure you're also following us on Instagram at Gaglione Strength, because I will be every Thursday. I always kind of put my own kind of goals. I do like a GAGS goals update, so we'll be kind of putting updates as well for my personal workout. So just kind of a little background again, I've been as heavy as 340 pounds. I've lost about 100 pounds of body weight. I've kind of fluctuated, here and there, but at my heaviest I was 340. When I kind of started the second, kind of time, I started about 2 years ago. I got back up to about 335, 340 pounds. I was around like 40% body fat, really unhealthy. My body fat has crept back up a little bit. So I did my in-body test today. I was 243 pounds. Now a lot of that is going to be a little bit of water weight. I did let my diet slip. I did have some treat meals after my last contest. If you've been following along, I just competed in the 220 class for the second time. It was my first successful total. I ended up bombing out at Slingshot Record Breakers in November. I competed at Powerpalooza and RPS meet in York, Pennsylvania this past weekend at the time of this taping. I'm kind of also dealing with a shoulder injury, so we were going to be kind of working on that. But my weight did creep back up to over 240. And some of it is water weight, some of it's bloat for sure, but at the end of the day, the body fat is still a little bit too high. I've been as low as 17%. So I'm just trying. So one of the goals is to get to 220 pounds of body weight, like walking around, and also getting my body fat under 20% again. So those are kind of like the short-term goals over the next 60 days. I don't want to say this plan is going to be very aggressive, but it's going to be very focused. So a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today is we want things to be kind of sustainable. So one of the things that I'm going to be kind of doing, I'm not really going to be counting a lot of calories. I'm not going to be like too meticulous or too crazy because I want this to be sustainable for 60 days. The most important factor in success is going to be consistency over time. So while 60 days is still a short period of time in the grand scheme of things, I want people to be 100% and basically not cheat at all. So the things that I'm kind of outlining with our team and the things I'm going to be doing I'm going to slowly kind of ease myself back into some harder training, some hard nutrition practices. So number one thing for nutrition, and then we're going to have future episodes that dive a little bit deeper into this stuff. We want to focus on single ingredient foods. So something like pancakes and syrup, or Pop-Tart, or things that are in like the process that are in a box. If something is in a box and it's more than one ingredient, that's not going to count. So if you're just having rice by itself, or if you're having like meat, ground beef, obviously if you're adding like salt and pepper and like some spices that are 0 calorie, that's fine. But basically you want to focus on whole foods. So if you have like a potato versus having like some processed like French fries and something like that. So we want to kind of stick to whole foods. Some of the other things that I'm doing personally, but the main rule for nutrition is you can eat as much as you'd like, but eat till you're full, but I want you to focus on having whole foods only, so no processed foods. Some other things that I'm going to be doing personally, I'm only going to have carbohydrate pre and post workout. I'm going to definitely be going to be limiting my carbs, especially on non-training days, as a means of putting myself in a calorie deficit. I will have a little bit more fat, so I'll have some things like burger patties and whole eggs on days where I'm not training, just to kind of keep my fat content a little bit higher. Make sure I'm getting those micronutrients. I'm going to make sure I'm having a lot of veggies. If you are somebody that's trying to lose weight versus gain weight, I recommend having lots of green veggies and use those as a means to kind of keep yourself full. So some things I like to do, I like to use spinach for like potassium. I like to use Brussels sprouts, they just kind of get me full. But again, just listen to your body. So for more information about kind of good whole foods, you can check out Stan Efferding's Vertical Diet. That's a great resource. Other resources for nutrition would be like something like Renaissance Periodization, and some of the guys at RP Nutrition, and also Precision Nutrition for any type of habit. So number one, nutrition, and we'll dive in a little bit deeper on specifics for foods and things like that, but just focus on having whole foods, single ingredient foods only. There's other habits we can kind of talk about, but I'll talk about those in a later episode. For training, it's going to be very simple. I want you to do some sort of, I'm going to be doing some sort of workout every single day. That does not mean it's high intensity every single day, but some sort of movement every single day. One of the things that I'm going to be doing personally, again, is start to get more walking in, start to get nicer out in New York. So I'm going to be training anywhere from 4 to 5 times a week as far as with some sort of weights. There will be 3 to 4 kind of harder workouts with a barbell, and the other workouts will be more of a kind of accessory based. As well, I'm going to be doing 3 to 4 workouts that are going to be workouts, I put in quotes, but it's going to be some sort of walking, some sort of cardio, but this is going to be more lower intensity work. So I just want you to so let's say you normally train 3 days a week. You don't necessarily have to change anything different, but I would just try to get in either 1 30-minute walk a day or 3 10-minute walks a day. But I want you to do some sort of activity, maybe take a yoga class, so you mix in maybe 3 to 4 high intensity workouts and 3 to 4 low intensity workouts. So something high intensity workout would be like doing powerlifting, weightlifting, CrossFit, some sort of metabolic conditioning, like a boot camp class. Those would be considered more, or if you're doing high intensity interval trainings on the treadmill, consider those high intensity workouts. Those are going to be harder on your nervous system, hard to recover from. Low intensity workouts would be something that's your 10-minute walks, 30 minutes on a treadmill, like at a steady state, light bike intervals, things like that, a yoga class. Those would be low intensity work. So you want to try to get at least 7 workouts per week. If you're already kind of training every day and you want to do like some cardio, some additional cardio, and sometimes split it up into twice a day, that's fine. But I want you to get some sort of movement every single day, and we'll talk a little bit more about the training again in a future episode as well. But I want to get some sort of movement every single day. Sleep is going to be the big one. We'll again do another episode on sleep, but we want to try to get restful sleep. So a couple of things that I'm going to be doing personally is I'm going to have an alarm that goes off when I'm supposed to get ready for bed. But we're going to aim for 7.5 hours per night. We want to do that every single night. We'll get into specifics on how we actually want to get quality sleep a little bit later. But I definitely want, a sleep cycle is about 1.5 hours, about 90 minutes. So that's where that 7.5 hours comes. So sometimes you may actually feel better, say operating on 5. You may feel better operating at 7.5. You may feel better operating at 9 versus having like 6 or 8 hours, etc. That being said, if you're trying to build up to 7.5 hours, or you're trying to build up to 9, if you're a high-level athlete, obviously taking those in-between stages can be helpful, because going another hour and a half may not be possible right now. The other way you can get that 7.5 total hours is you can take a 30, 60, or 90-minute nap throughout the day if you have time for that. But we want to try and get 7.5 hours on average throughout the week. That's going to be key. If you're a high-level performer, if you're trying to break an all-time world record, if you're trying to be a high-level athlete, doing 9 hours might be preferred, but at a minimum, we're looking at 7.5 hours or 5 sleep cycles of 1.5 hours. So I think I did the math right there. So again, we're looking at sleep. How many sleep cycles can you get? So to keep that in mind. So for hydration, this is going to be a little bit different for men and women. But for myself, typically I'll have anywhere. Sometimes I'm a little bit lazy with my water. I'll usually have anywhere on average from like 2 to 3 liters of water a day. So I'm going to work on bumping that up to a gallon. So I recommend if you're like a male that's over 200 pounds, 4 liters a day or a gallon a day is good. Making sure you have enough sodium and electrolytes, so you're getting enough sodium, potassium, magnesium throughout the day. Calcium is important as well. All these things are going to be important for weight loss, muscle contraction, and just your quality of workout. So I'll use some things like Noon Tabs. I'm also experimenting with some things like an LMT, electrolyte powder. But yeah, you want to just make sure you're getting some salt around your training time and hydrating throughout the day. And we'll talk about, again, we'll have an episode on hydration as well. But those, again, we want to make sure that we're fully hydrated. It's also going to help you, again, for weight loss, just to kind of fill up your stomach as well. And the last piece is going to be stress. The fifth pillar is stress management, which a lot of us, so this is going to be really simple, but I want to take like 5 minutes per day. It could be usually at the end of the day. There's going to be some things, some strategies that we can use. So you can do some things like box breathing or meditation or yoga or some combination of all three. So we're going to talk about some different stress management strategies. We're going to talk about some journaling, some other things, but we want to take at least 5 minutes every day just to be mindful and work on our stress management. Because if we're really stressed in our outside of our life, it doesn't matter how dialed in our training is, that's going to be a big one. So again, we're going to focus on nutrition, training, sleep, hydration, and stress management. Those are going to be the 5 key pillars. And then lastly, whether it's a friend or I'm going to invite you guys, if you want to post up how you're doing, like on our Instagram post, if you want to drop us some comments on Instagram. I'm going to post I have been posting my training updates once a week. For the people in our challenge, we're going to be doing this on a daily basis in a Facebook group. But if you guys want to post up your stuff on a weekly basis, if you want to tag me in your Instagram stories, let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're struggling with. I want to hear it. I want us to kind of do this together for 60 days. So if you want to post, I'm going to be taking my progress pictures weekly. I'm going to be posting my kind of training update at least once a week for like kind of what I've been doing. I don't know if we will do like a weekly YouTube series like we've been doing for my training or not, because I'm not going to be doing anything too exciting for a while, but at the very least we will do an Instagram post weekly on Thursdays, just to kind of have accountability for myself. And if you want to post in your comments, if you want to tag me your stuff, but I want you to kind of post something once a week on social, just for some accountability, whether that's for yourself, whether that's if you're tagging a friend, if you want to tag me, if you want to comment on our page. Just do something on at least a weekly basis. If you can do it daily, that's even better. You can journal your progress. You can do other things. So, and then we'll maybe have like another episode on some different accountability tactics as well. But those are some ideas off the bat. So, that's our 60-day nutrition challenge. We're starting this next week. I'm starting this on April 15th. By the time you're kind of listening to this, it'll kind of be underway. But I kind of invite you to kind of join me alongside, join me on the weight loss journey. If you want to also gain weight, that's fine too. Just whatever is going to make you a healthier, better, stronger version of yourself. That's what we're kind of after here. I still have the little goals in powerlifting. I'm not, but for right now, I'm really putting a lot of focus for the next 2 months on weight loss and fat loss and getting my body fat back in check and getting my health back in check. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope this information has helped you. If it did help you, please share it with a friend. Please subscribe and definitely check out the links below so you can support the program. Until next time, guys, stay strong and we'll see you soon.